We're going to look at some properties of light and reflection in this section. So firstly, reflection, we're all probably pretty familiar with, is just the change in direction of a light ray or a wave coming in contact with some kind of surface. So let's talk a little bit about ray diagrams. So a ray is a beam of light that comes off an object. Now, if it's a candle, you'll have light rays going in all directions. So we're just going to focus on a couple in this section, though. Our eyes detect the light rays. That's how we see objects. We have light rays intersecting with each other and images are formed. And there's what I just talked about. We see when light rays converge in our eyeballs. Mirrors reflect light rays. Mirrors, it is possible to see images in mirrors. Now, there are a couple of different kinds of mirrors. This video is simply about a flat plane mirror, like you see in the picture or you see in your bathroom or on the wall in your house. So what's going on with a flat plane mirror is you have light reflecting off it, and a whole bunch of these beams are going to converge in your eyeball, and your eyeball is going to see something in the mirror. So light reflects off the mirror and converges to form an image in the eye. And it's those light rays that we're dotting back. Now we've got two kinds of universes going on here. We call this the real world. This is the one we exist in. That says real. And over here we have the virtual universe. So this is like an image appearing within the mirror. So it's like an imaginary image. So we're going to look at 4 characteristics of images, and the acronym for this is SALT, and I will tell you why here as we proceed. So the characteristics, the first one we're going to look at is going to be size. So we're going to compare the image and the object, and the size of the image could be smaller or larger, or it could be the same. So there's kind of 3 possibilities here. So that would be size of image. Second one is something called attitude, and it's about the image being upright or inverted. You can see here that at least it appears that this image is upside down, so it would be inverted. So some images are inverted and some are just kind of normal, which we consider to be upright. Third is location, and so we're going to compare the distance of the image and the object to the mirror. And sometimes the image will be closer, sometimes it'll be further away, and sometimes it could be the same distance. So that is location. And lastly here, type, and we just kind of talked about this earlier. So we have something appearing in the mirror universe, we call that virtual, it's not a real image. And then you got something in our world, a tangible or real image is called. So we're going to take a look at a question here now. Because this is a flat plane mirror, we're always going to have one outcome in terms of our characteristics. That's why it's kind of boring. There's only ever one outcome. So there's a couple of numbers on here. We've got 10 centimeters, so our pretend F is 10 centimeters away, at least this top point here. And then this bottom point over here is 15 centimeters. So if you're going to try to create an image, the first thing you would do would be do a little measurement, and then go into the plane mirror and put a little dot. So that dot is representing, say, a dot here. So this dot is 10 centimeters away. So then the next thing you do is you might want to go to this dot here and measure and place it, and then you start to go along your F. I just highlighted all the corners of this object, and you get them looking like that, and then you can connect them all, and they make your F. Now, the one thing we're going to do here now is we're going to classify, we're going to salt the image, as I like to call it. So let's talk about that. Okay, so SALT, that is our acronym. So the S stands for size. So what we're doing is we're comparing the size of the image to the object, and they should be exactly the same. When you look into a mirror, your image is the exact same as you. It might be backwards, but it is the same. Attitude is the next one. That's what A stands for. And is our image here, is it upright or inverted? And it should be upright. It might be backwards, but that's not what we're talking about. We're just looking at it and saying, yeah, okay, it's still standing upward. L for location. You do your measurements, you'll notice that the F in the plane mirror and in the real universe are exactly the same. So our location is the same. All of our dots were the same distance apart. And lastly, type is a virtual image. So we have an image forming within this universe here is an imaginary image, if you will. It is a virtual image. Now, as we get into curved mirrors, the salt is going to be different a lot. There's 5 different locations you can have objects in, and so you're going to have many different outcomes for these salt characteristics. But when we're talking about a plane mirror, you always have the same 4 outcomes. Not very exciting, but at least it's consistent.